now from home, of course, I want to start with making the right dough for pizza, and that means to start with a cresciuta, and that means a growth, and this is the way my grandmother did it. You want to start with some water, about a half a cup of warm water in a small bowl. And then you want to add, about 3/4 of a teaspoon of dry yeast. And then just mix that around until it's dissolved, you see. Now this is something that's going to sit around for a few hours, and as it sits, of course, it develops a wonderful tang. And now I've added, a half a cup of flour and about 2 tablespoons. And all I want to do is mix that around, and that makes a very liquid-looking combination. You want to cover this with some plastic wrap and put it aside. And really, you could make this the day before and then bring it out the next day and then make your dough. So I'm going to just set that aside. Now, after that cresciuta has really developed a tang, well then, you can add it to the second dough that you have to make. And here I've got some additional water, about 1½ cups, in a bowl with about a teaspoon of yeast. And now what I want to do is add the cresciuta. I have to tell you, this is a very old one. I've had this in my refrigerator a long, long time, and every time I make pizza dough, of course, I just lop off a piece of dough from the pizza that I'm making that day, and that is saved for the next pizza. So this goes in, you see. And then what you want to do is just break this up with your hands, and make sure when you bring that out of the refrigerator, you let it come to room temperature. You don't want to put it in the warm water and the yeast cold. You want to put it in at room temperature. So now, that's fine, and now I can start to add flour to this, and I'm using unbleached flour. And here I've had about 3½ to 3¾ cups, and I'm not going to add all of it at once. So now I'm going to put this aside and add some more flour to my board, because now I've got to get that into a smooth ball. But before I do, I've got to shut off my Swiss chard, because that's a little surprise for later on. So now I want to knead this until it's nice and smooth. And that's going to take you, about 5 or 10 minutes to do. Get all of it off of your fingers as you're going along. And now with a recipe like I'm doing today, you can get 2 pizzas out of this dough, about 13 inches in diameter. I'm going to show you a couple interesting ways to make pizza. So knead it well until it doesn't stick to your hands. And that needs about 5 or 10 more minutes of kneading. And then bring back that dough. I'm just going to dump out the scrapings there because I don't need those. Then bring back the dough, the bowl, and add some olive oil into the base, because now all you want to do is take that dough and wipe the bowl with it, just like that, you see? And then turn it over. And then you want to put on, a piece of plastic wrap over the top. Get it tightly over the top and put it off to the side where it will rise for several hours. And then when it's risen, and I'm not even going to clean off my hands for this, it'll look like this. Now the longer it rises, of course, the better will be the flavor of this, the tang. And that's what I love about this pizza dough. So now this should be ready to take out. So let me get a little bit more flour on my surface here. So take that out, and look at how soft and wonderful that looks. I get rid of that. And now you can shape this, you see. I'm going to cut this up into 2 pieces. So there. I think that looks about just where I want it. Now, the peel. And now while I'm doing this, I've got my oven on at 450 with stones in the base. And now for this, you need to really put on a lot of cornmeal. And that's just generic cornmeal. You can buy that in the grocery store. So I've put an awful lot of that on. And now what you want to do is get your dough off the board and onto that peel. So I want to lift that up carefully and just do that to it, you see? So after you've got the dough formed on the peel, well, to do nona saporito, you need very few ingredients. And for this, I'm going to be using just some olive oil and some coarse black pepper. So I want to put some olive oil over the top, just like that. About 2 tablespoons. And then get a brush, you see, and just brush the top like so. Did I tell you that was extra virgin olive oil? That's what it is, and it gives a very nice flavor. And then over that, she called this butcher's pepper. It's coarse black pepper. You can buy it in the grocery store. You just want to give a sprinkling of that over the top. You know, you could add garlic slivers to this if you wanted to, but I'm doing it the authentic way. And now some coarse salt. Again, coarse salt you can buy in the grocery store. You don't want to put this much salt on? Leave it off. And then some Pecorino Romano cheese. This has a very salty flavor. And that goes on over the top. And really, that's all there was to Nonna Saporito's pizza. Now that's ready to go into the oven, a 450-degree oven. But before I can get it in, I've got to prepare the stone. And here they are. And now, to do that, I have to put a good base of cornmeal over the top. Because if I don't, it's very possible that the pizza will stick. Trust me, I have stuck pizza on stones before. And here it is. And now this can go on the stone. And so you want to give the pizza, or the peel rather, a jerk, just like that, you see? And that looks beautiful, and now that can cook. And you're going to have to help me keep my eye on that one.